Good evening. Welcome to this newest edition of Doorway to the Paintings. I really love this painting a lot. This is another one of my paintings that it's really one of my favorites. One of my favorite types to do. I've done quite a few of these. Well, 3 or 4, maybe 5. I'd have to go through the stack of paintings. But yeah, I've done this multiple times because I like the concept. I like the style, I like the type, the inspirations behind it, and the thoughts that I had when I painted it and before I painted it. So let's get into it and take a look at it. I just love the look of this. I got my columns again, the pillars. Really like this. The light on the sides, you can see the moonlight hitting the pillars. Let's set the stage by reading this. I'll read it. This ancient Greek writer has created a story about the zombies who roam the forest at night. I really think this is beautiful, and you could see the design here. I put a little design here, give it that ancient kind of Greek look, design of a character there. Like it's embossed on the material. I really like that. Well, the inspiration, or at least one of them behind this, was Plato's Republic. There were some really fun passages in there, really unique passages spoken by Socrates. And it mentions some of the stories that ancient Greek writers and poets have written. And it talked about certain scary writings that Socrates thought should be censored, by the way, but they were really beautiful. They were really creepy but scary, like sapling shades, ghosts, phantoms that go to the earth with a shrilling cry, like smoke fading, with shrilling cry, like smoke fading into the earth. So I mean, they're just like sapling shades, mystic caverns, talked about phantoms. And I wish I had the book here with me so I can read those passages, but I'm probably getting a few of the words wrong, but basically you get the gist of it. It was really like fleeting shades. I think the shades stood for phantoms, shadows. It was really interesting. It was a big inspiration to this, and then also Halloween, part 2 and part 1, and then also there was a video game a long time ago called Ghosts and Goblins, and the zombies chasing the main character walked like this. They would be like in a trance. And I kind of made them look like that, a cross between one of those zombies and then the shape in Halloween, part 2 and part 1. But in part 2 in particular, because it was like he was in a trance. Some people criticize that movie, but it's one of my favorites. I think it's my favorite sequel of all the Halloweens, part 2. And I didn't think he moved too slowly, actually. When I looked at it, even as a kid, I never thought it was robotic. I always thought it was someone demon-possessed or like under the influence of an evil spirit or in a trance, which I think actually made him look more scary in part 2. It was like he was in a trance. If you just picture it that way, like he was under possession, that's why he was moving so slow. It actually makes the movie scarier. And I also think Halloween 2 had the best music. But anyway, those are a few of the inspirations. And then, of course, these dark trees and my normal pillars and columns. Really love the dark tree against the background of the moon. Really love that. You have mist. Really like putting mist in a lot of my paintings. I wanted this face in this painting to look more realistic. There's some impressionism, of course, in this painting. But I wanted his face to look more on the real side, so I did decide to paint him real. Pretty real in here. Not like a photograph, but pretty real. I like putting moss and leaves on the tree trunks. I really like these trees. They're a very good match for this painting. I want to get the full view of it. Really a good match for the painting. And everything pretty much harmonizes together in this painting. It looks really, really good. Look at that moon. Really like it. Yeah, everything harmonizes well and everything is in sync. Blends together nicely. The zombies walking around the ruins or the columns. Wonder how old those columns are. Are they ruins or were they just built? Because this painting is set back in ancient times. But to me, that concept of an ancient Greek writer writing about the zombies who roam the forest by night, to me, that is so fascinating. It's just a fascinating concept. That's why I've painted 3 or 4 other paintings, maybe 5. I have to count and dig through the large stack of paintings, but that's why I painted them multiple times, painted this concept multiple times. And you know, the Evil Dead movie too, I liked, that was an inspiration as well. And of course, Night of the Living Dead. I liked the opening to Evil Dead Part 1, and then I liked a lot of the music. That music was kind of running through my mind. My favorite part of that movie is when they're listening to that tape of the previous guy, the researcher who was in the cabin in the past, and they had the lights down low, and they were listening to what he was talking about, the Book of the Dead, and how he was explaining what he was doing, what he was researching. To me, that was it was the most charming part of that movie. I really like that. And that was another inspiration on me too. And that music, the music, when they first heard sounds in the basement, for some reason, it kind of reminded me of ancient Greece. And then, of course, in the movie, actually, I think Bruce Campbell, he proposed a toast. And he said, as a Greek friend of mine once said, and then he went on to speak in the Greek language. So there was some of that in there. So now that I think of it, there was a mention of Greece or the Greek language in that movie. But I like the atmosphere in that movie. I think it's still my favorite of the Evil Dead series is the first one, because of what I'm talking about now. It had a subtle charm to it, even though it was very gory, and I don't need to see that in my movies. When I was a kid, I liked it. My friends and I were waiting for the latest shocking thing, but I grew out of that. It doesn't do anything for me nowadays, the blood and the gore. I actually like it when it's toned down and they focus more on the scares and the story. And I like that whole idea of Ash fighting against evil, having a good hero that you can get behind, fighting against... He's a flawed hero, but all of us are flawed, and I think he did his best, and it was a very enjoyable movie. Movies. I always want my paintings to have plenty of atmosphere, the type of atmosphere that really sets the mood and tells you what the painting's about. Yeah, this almost looks like a bronze, or it even could be like leather, but it's not, it's just paint. I really like it. It adds more style to the painting. Character. Yeah, the forest and the trees provokes all kinds of thoughts and imaginations. You know, there's another painting that I painted like this where the guy in the front of the painting has a white beard and white hair, and essentially it says the same thing. In almost all of those paintings that I did, it says essentially the same thing down here, or wherever I put it, because I like the idea so much of an ancient Greek writer writing about dark things a long time ago, or whatever he was into, collecting his deep thoughts and really getting into a story of zombies or the phantoms that roam the earth. And whatever good may fight against it or explore it or write about it. And this character here, I like him. It's one of the best characters I've done. He's got a very interesting face, expressive face. I like putting beards on my characters. I think it's just because as an artist, it's pretty easy to do and you can play with it. It's really nice. I won't play with your beard. Don't worry, pal. Focus on your story. Focus on the zombies. Never mind me. Get Ash over here. Bring that shotgun, Ash. But yeah, there's 3 of them there. That's all I see in the painting. That's all I remember painting. I did this painting about 8 years ago, maybe 6 to 8 years ago. Really enjoyed painting it. It took me a while to finish, maybe 2 or 3 hours, just because of the characters and everything that goes with it. Gosh, the trees set the atmosphere really well. Mr. Sandman. Oh, excuse. No, but it's great to have those inspirations, though. It's inspired so much art. I hope people out there watching are inspired by this painting as well, and the others. Yeah, just to take it, it's almost like taking a trip back in time, like getting into a time machine. I know when I read Plato's Republic, that's what it was like to me, because it was set back in those times. And I mean, it was written close to those times too. And it was really fascinating. And in the future, I'll probably make videos about those other paintings, even though it's essentially the same story. Why not? Similar story, if not the same, but they're good paintings. They really are. They're similar to this, but different. The story is essentially the same, but the art is in the same genre, but different. It's really, I really like them a lot. Some of the best paintings I've ever done were about this idea of an ancient Greek writer writing about something creepy back then, or the zombies or the phantoms that roam the earth. that travel up and down in the earth. And I know it kept my engine going for a while. Did a lot of paintings for a lot of years, and then I got burned out, and I figured, gee, I got to show more people. Anyway, guys, I hope you like looking at this painting. If you like this video, consider subscribing and hitting that like button. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next time when the moon is full, or maybe even before then.